Okay, first of all, can we just stop saying that the market is shifting? I mean, I'm just as guilty, but the market is always shifting. The market is a living, breathing thing. As much as we'd like to think that we have all the power in the world, we as realtors don't control it. Sellers don't control it. Buyers probably have the most control in terms of determining what they are willing to pay for things. I'd be a pretty crap agent if I could only work in one type of market, right? So it's my job to adjust to the changes, to educate sellers, to educate buyers, and to educate myself and keep informed. That is why I obsessively watch the market. I check the MLS. I check our listings. I am looking for trends. I'm looking for what's selling for what. I'm looking for micro markets. I'm looking for the types of homes that are selling, what's working, what's not. That is my job as an agent, so that I can then take that information to my buyers and sellers and educate them so that they can make great choices. So it's a different market now. Now, sellers are having to work harder, buyers have more choice. And yes, inventory is up, as we keep hearing. But in fact, the number of new homes listed in July of 2022 is about the same as the number of new homes listed in July of 2021. The big difference, not as many of those homes are selling. Yes, prices have fallen about 15% since February, but again, keep in mind that they were up a crazy 30%. There was no way that we could sustain that continued increase. So things have kind of come back down to a bit of a normal. They're still up 15% from where they were 2 years ago. So we have to keep reminding our sellers that while, yes, you're not going to get those crazy prices that we saw in February, you're still quite far ahead of where you were just 2 years ago. Generally, in real estate, we can count on about a 5% increase year over year in real estate values over the long term. So when you look at it that way, 15% over 2 years, you're still at 7.5% year over year. So you're still in good shape. Unfortunately, expectations are still out of whack, both with sellers and buyers. Sellers are still looking for those elevated prices. So even though they're not going to maybe list at the height of where we were in February, they still are pricing above where the current market is sitting. And buyers who are hearing about interest rates and hearing about prices going down are hoping that prices are going to keep going down. So while sellers are expecting higher prices than what the market is currently commanding, buyers are expecting prices to go down. So that gap between seller and buyer expectations is still a bit too wide to produce the kind of activity that we were seeing earlier this year. So if you're a seller, the key to selling in this market is pricing, and presentation, marketing. You need to stand out among all those listings. So you need to really get your house looking great. And then you need to price it competitively to get those buyers in the door. It's a funny thing. Sellers think, oh, if I price it high, then I can always come down. But what looks really bad is when you keep coming down, and we're seeing this again and again. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. They keep coming down. And then by the time they are at the market value that buyers are willing to pay, buyers have either moved on, they think there's something wrong with the place, or they'll think, oh, well, the seller is willing to come down. Maybe they'll come down more and they'll offer lower. Agents can look up the history of your price reductions, right? And they tell their buyers. So buyers know that you've come down, and they think, oh, maybe they'll come down even more. So they do come in with a lowball offer. Whereas if you priced it right out of the gate, in those first critical 2 weeks when your listing gets the most activity, the most eyeballs, buyers see your place and they're thinking, wow, this is priced really fairly and it looks really great. So I totally don't mind paying list price. Maybe I'll even pay a little more for it because I think it's worth it. The value is there. As a seller, price it so that you can get as many buyers through the door as possible. That's the best chance you have of setting up some competition, getting your list price maybe even a little bit over if you can get a couple of competing offers. And buyers always say, oh, I don't want to do that though, because then buyers are going to come in and lowball me because everyone thinks prices are dropping. Listen, you don't have to accept any offers. So if a buyer comes in and brings you a lowball offer, you just say no. If you feel like you're priced where the market is and the value is there, the buyers will show up. Promise. I promise you. And buyers, work with an agent who understands value. It's not about getting a deal in this market. Value is about paying what you feel something is worth to you. And when a buyer gets value and a seller feels like they got a good price and the agent understands that and everybody is happy about the sale, well, that's the ultimate goal, isn't it? Everybody leaves happy. And working with an agent who gets that will make you feel really good about your sale as a seller and really good about your purchase as a buyer. So I beg of you, stop trying to time the market. You're going to make yourself crazy. Again, as I always say, buy when you need to buy, sell when you need to sell, and most importantly, work with an agent who understands your needs and who can implement strategies to help you achieve your goals, because they know the market so well, so up to the minute, so intricately that they can adjust and shift and work in any market.